are studying Ashtavakra Gita. Here comes our young friends. So we are studying Ashtavakra Gita. So, do you remember the 3 questions it has asked? It asked the 3 questions: how the knowledge of the real self is attained, how dispassion is attained, and how liberation or freedom can be attained. These are the 3, you can say, the goals of any meditation. So if we are not a seeker, we should understand the dispassion. So we should practice dispassion in day-to-day life. Say, someone looks at the honey and the mind gets upset. So I should not get upset. Someone looks at the honey and the mind is attracted. Mind should remain calm in all the situation. One example of dispassion. So first level is the dispassion. Second level is the knowledge of the real self. And third is the freedom. Freedom. So in the very first chapter, this master is explaining the very nature of the real self. What is my real nature? So when it is explaining the very real nature of the real self, it means master is explaining about me, about you, about everyone. That real self is a common element in every human being. That needs to be understood as the basis. So if I Atma Sakshi Vibhu Purnameko Muktaschid Kriyah Asango Nishpraha Shanto Brahmata Sansar Vaniva. I always like to sing because the life is full of that singing once we understand our real self. So in the previous verses, he explains that the real self is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness. So now he says, if I Atma Sakshi, that my real nature is a witness, all pervading, perfect, one, free, pure consciousness, actionless, unattached, desireless, and quiet. Then why I suffer? So he answers in the last line, Brahmata sansara vaniva. Because of the delusion, it appears as if it is not the pure consciousness. Because of the delusion, I work as a doer and the enjoyer. I work as a husband and a wife. I work as an employer and the employee. I work as a male and the female. I work as, you can add lot of labels. Now just see that from where the doer and the enjoyer comes. So doer and the enjoyer comes from the delusion. What is delusion? Pick up each and every word to understand. He says, Brahmat, Sansar Vanivaha. Because my mind perceives that delusion as real, that causes the anxiety and the suffering. So, I drop the delusion, I live into that calmness, peace, love, and the wisdom. Let us take a delusion in a day-to-day life. I am your honey, why don't you listen to me? Is it a delusion? On the other hand, I love you so much, honey. Is it also a delusion? Now I leave on you to think of it. If the love is there inside, let me express the love. But why I love someone? Because I have lot of expectations of the same kind from others. So I have become the doer. And the moment I become the doer, I am bound to suffer. Expectations reduce the joy in life. So I'm picking up only one part, delusion. And from the delusion, the doer and the enjoyer. From where the doer enters into me and from where the enjoyer enters into me. So one thing you should be clear, I do something not to get stress. I do something, I am a doer because I want peace and happiness, love and wisdom in my life. So doer and enjoyer are related to each other. First part. Second part. How I become a doer? When you drive a car, reach home, do you say, thank you car, you have driven me? Or you are the driver? Tell me. Just take a day-to-day example. Now, based on this example, now ask yourself, do you see me? Nod your head, yes, you see me. Do you see me or your eyes in the mind sees me? And if the eyes in the mind sees me, do you ever declare, here are the eyes, that is me. Here is the mind, that is me. Do you ever say? We say eyes are instrument, they are the sense organs. This master explains in a very simple way, but mind and the intellect has to be simple to absorb this message. What is that simple mind and intellect? We have completed that series with Manisha Panchakam on Saturdays. We don't need an IQ. We need only Manisha. Simple, clear intellect free from the ego's sense. Let me understand it. So now see that. I see an object. You are an object for me. Who sees? Eyes. Who listens? Ears. And processed by the mind. So now see that. So every master adds that when I see an object, the mind recognizes that object and the senses has an attraction. Take one example. Senses organs has an attraction for it. So there is a liking. So the mind starts thinking of liking. I like you. It repeats in the subconscious level. So every time I meet that object or a person, mind gets obsessed. And that obsession creates an attachment and detachment. Now, why it creates an attachment and detachment? The mind perceives, mind says that, this object, this person will give me happiness. Forgetting that the happiness is not there in the object, the happiness is always inside me. So now you see that the mind starts falling into ignorance. So because the mind in ignorance feels that this object, this person will give me peace and happiness, what I have to do? I have to just become aware. Just become aware. Peace is not there. Happiness is not there in any object. Why? Because, first example, the peace and happiness is experienced inside me. Isn't it? if someone smiles looking at you, it may not mean that he or she is happy with you. Do you see that? We lose that awareness. So once we lose that awareness, then what happens? My mind lives in delusion. This is also a delusion. You know what? I have just told you a couple of times, couple of people, please unmute before you speak. So you join, you see me, and you have started speaking. And the mic is mute. See that? The mind is cheating us at all the time. It has nothing to do with right, good, high, low. See that? Every moment this mind creates a level of ignorance. What we need? Dispassion. First question, how the dispassion is attained? Now, once we are in a delusion, it creates a doer and the enjoyer. I hope you are getting it. So you see that? The delusion. Take it the same example. The mic is mute. I ask you, how are you? You start speaking. You see that? You see, just here and now. So like this, we have trillions of illusions. So the moment you started speaking means you have become the doer. You see, through the delusion, we become the doer. What that doer says, I am the body, I am the mind, I am the sense organ, I am this thought. And in order to become an enjoyer. And it hides our real self. Are you getting it? What we need? I just become aware. Live in that awareness. My master used to say, live consciously from moment to moment. J. Krishnamurti talks about choiceless awareness. First, I should have a clarity before I become the doer and the enjoyer. So I'm not taking that subject in a different direction that we cover on Mondays and Thursdays. So I'm just explaining, giving interpretation. So now he says, once there is no delusion, then what happens? Now, for example, you are listening to me, but there is no ego sense that you are the listener. What happens then? What is that common element? That common element is consciousness. That element is awareness. Whether you say it's a pure consciousness, whether you say it's a real self, he says Atma Sakshi, whether you say it is witness, Vibhu, all pervading, Purnam, complete, Eko Muktaschidda Kriyaha, and that is always free. Why you want liberation and freedom? You are already free. Why we have a bondage? I become the doer and the enjoyer. I become the doer and the enjoyer. So why I become the doer and the enjoyer? The mind is causing that delusion. Why the delusion is there? The mind is seeking happiness, peace, love, wisdom outside. Why it is seeking love, peace, happiness, and because of attachment. Why there is an attachment? Because of liking. I say, see another example. I like coffee, hence I should prepare a cup of coffee and take it. If you don't like coffee, do you take it? You don't take it, right? So to secure happiness in the world, first condition that I must like it. Do you see that? I must like it. Now examine, what is this liking? You say, I like yellow color without any reason. The other says, I like red color. What is the reasoning behind it? Give me a logic. Why you like right color? Why you like red color? Why you like yellow color? Why you like blue color? Give me the reason. Is there any reason? There is no reason. Sense organs, by default, they have a liking and a disliking. Think of it. Again think of it. I like coffee, I like tea, I like this, I like that. Sense organs, by default, they have a liking and dislike. And because I like it, from there the journey starts. Because I like it, liking, ultimately if I possess it, if I own it, it will give me happiness. Hence, I become the doer. The doer and the enjoyer is a delusion in the mind. Are you getting it? Now you will ask what to do. It's not a question of doing. It's a question of becoming aware. That is why we say meditation is a state of doing nothing. Do you see that in all the practices? In the end, I say just do nothing. Be in the state of nothing. Means absence of doership and enjoyership. Once there is an absence of doership and enjoyership, then what happens? Then that consciousness, the real self, reveals the knowledge. How the knowledge of the real self is attained. This is the three questions were asked by the seeker. And when that knowledge is revealed, the delusion is gone, the enjoyer and the doership is gone, then how you live your life? That is another question. I can give an example. You are with your small kid, maybe 2, 3, 4 years old, and you want to make the kid dance. We might have done, those who have kids. So what we do? We start dancing even if we do not know it. And then our kid also starts dancing, and then we sit calmly. That is the way we have to work in the world. Means as a play and the fun. That I assume the role when I am with you as a teacher, and once the session is gone, I throw that being a teacher from my entire being. Finished. I live into that consciousness. That is the meaning of the choiceless awareness. No doer, no enjoyer. You live into that state. But while playing a role of a father, mother, teacher, listener, student, employee, employer, you perform your role. Your focus is on the work. Your focus is on the work. No worker, and neither you even think of the fruits of an action. That allows, that enables the mind to reflect that pure consciousness, and that pure consciousness reveals what it reveals. It reveals peace and happiness. That is why he says this self is the witness, Atma Sakshi, all pervading, perfect, one, free, consciousness, actionless, unattached, desireless, and quiet. So inside at the center, this is what the real self is. And outside the moment, last point, I remember it came to my mind. The intellect borrows the consciousness from the real self. Then, intellect gives this consciousness to the mind. Then the mind gives partial consciousness to the sense organs. And the sense organs looks around into the world and perceives. You see, now what is at the center? You remove the consciousness. Can sense organ function? Can mind function? Can intellect function? Can ego function? No, but why you are saying withdraw, just become aware, drop the delusion, move the mind within, and you will reach to the highest state of consciousness. Nature, our existence, teaches, educates us every day that you can be into the highest state if you remove that delusion caused by the body, sense organs, mind, intellect, and the ego sense. We do it, you do it, I do it. Every day. Our existence takes us beyond sense organs, body, mind, thoughts, and ego sense. When? Do you remember? In deep sleep. Sense organ works? No. Do you have liking and disliking in deep sleep? Do you have a thought in deep sleep? Body is not there, mind is not there. If the body and mind is not there, when we experience that immense deep state of calmness and peace in deep sleep. So, in a waking state, if it becomes a conscious process to go behind, from where? I told you consciousness in ego sense, intellect, mind, body, sense organ, object. Now step back. Step back. Sense organs behind, mind behind, liking and disliking behind, intellect and ego behind. And now we discover that real self. This is what he is explaining. Close your eyes. Let us start our journey. Oh, in this practice, we are doing nothing. It's a practice and a non-practice. I have been telling you. I have been guiding you. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. I'm not forcing you to close your eyes. If you like, you can close. And if you like to be with eyes open, I have no objection at all. Choice is yours. So eyes are closed. And are you aware of the eyes are closed? Do you squeeze your eyes? The moment you squeeze your eyes, you become the doer. Don't become the doer. Look at the body. You are looking at the body. Looking is doing nothing. Remember. Why looking through the mind is doing nothing? Because we are a conscious being. We are not like a dead matter. We are not like a mouse or a smartphone that does not know itself and that cannot know others. We are conscious being. So looking at the body from the crown of the head to the toes, your awareness of the body keeps the body steady, looking deep inside the heart. Looking deep inside your heart means aware inside the heart. You see the space. Very good. You become aware of the space. Somebody will say that I see the darkness. No worries. I see the emptiness. No worries. It's all one and the same thing. I'm aware of the space and darkness. In that space and the darkness, become aware of a point in the space. There was a great master who had a big monastery here in US also, Swami. He is no more. So he says space is awareness and awareness is space. Teaching from another higher text. So you look at a point in the space, one guy attending my sessions for the last 9 months, and he said, when you say you look at a point in the space, that point itself is the space. And I said, yes, you're right. From millions of points, the space becomes. Without a point, there is no space. So I could see that guy reached deeper. That is how we understand. So now, look at the neck joint. So we make the mind subtle. It is not you're not doing anything. It is already subtle. You jump into the subtle level of awareness, if I say so. So look at the neck joint. It is physical object. And after that, you be there. You experience the sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Simple. Do you still remember stepping back from the object to the senses, to the likes and dislikes, to the mind, behind the mind, from leaving the delusion, behind the intellect, behind the ego sense, and we are there. That is we are going through. Look at the shoulder joints, be there, feel sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. My friend, understand, on one day during the journey, if your mind is ready after the talk, that talk has gone deeper into your mind, into the intellect, you have clarity and understanding, the practice will become successful. On the other day, the mind is not ready and it lives in other states which are not ready for meditation. Even giving you the best step and the practice, you will not succeed. Not because of me, not because of you, but because of the mind. That is why the Master says, understand what is dispassion, practice dispassion, become a seeker. So look at the entire body from the top to the toes. Awareness, feeling, sensation, being comfortable and steadiness. Now see that the body is steady, the mind is within, and the mind continues to trigger lot of thoughts. So for that I say be carefree. Now if I pick up one word from the teaching of this master, he says, Atma Sakshi. Real self is a witness. Now you can understand being a witness in a court of law. That witness neither swings on any side of the pendulum. Thoughts are there. Let the thoughts are coming and going. Good thought, bad thought, high thought, low thought. You just remain a witness. That is what is being carefree. Witness. And that I explain to you by saying you are standing across a road watching the traffic. So there you 100% sure the traffic is different from you standing across. The same way, all these thoughts, the mental traffic, is different from you. What I have to do for that? I simply have to know. What is that knowing? Awareness. What is that awareness? It may be a sensation, it may be knowing, it is feeling. How do you say feeling? Modern psychology, feeling, sensation, consciousness, awareness. Sometimes they use these words as synonyms. Being carefree. So let us see that. Look at the head and the neck. Just be there. Do nothing. You see, what's the biggest problem in our life? We become the doer to become the enjoyer. In between the doer and the enjoyer, there is a big expectation. If I do this, I will attain. See that. So, the master says, break this doer and the enjoyer relationship. So, you are looking at the head and the neck. Simply looking, awareness, feeling. And so what is the feeling? Sensation, relaxation and stillness. Look at the right arm, be there. Look at the right arm, be there. So we are in the journey based on the teaching of this master. Make sure that I'm not teaching anything. I'm very clear. Look at the left arm, be there. What is the meaning of be there? The intellect has to remain simple, clear. Be there, awareness, feeling. What is that feeling? Sensation, relaxation and stillness. Look at the chest and the belly. Be there, aware, feel, sensation, relaxation, stillness. In the beginning of this journey, your mind will say, after all, I'm doing something. You are crazy, you don't understand. But gradually what will happen when the delusion is totally removed, you will find that there is no doer and the enjoyer. And then you are in a deeper state. So, middle portion of the body, hand, look, feel, sensation, relaxation and stillness. Right leg. Sensation, relaxation and stillness. Left leg. Sensation, relaxation and stillness. So I believe you remember we have to step back. We have to extract, if so to say, that consciousness which sees an object through the senses, which recognizes the object through a thought in the mind, which makes a choice in the intellect, and which claims as a knower and the doer, the ego sense. So the consciousness becomes free from all these. So that is why I devised this step. That you have been doing it for the sake of understanding. Look at the world outside in your room. Simply become aware of the articles, the walls in the room, the space in your room, the clothes that you are putting on. Well, if you have glasses, clothes, and cap, etc., etc., whatever is the object known by the sense organs. Now, look at who is looking at all these objects. So, which I say it is the physical mind. Mind is not physical, but if the mind starts dwelling into the matter, through the consciousness, we identify that is another delusion. I'm focusing today on the delusion and the doer and the enjoyer. Okay, the physical mind perceives the world outside. Okay, now look at the physical body from the top to the toes. Excuse me. We say, I am aware of the body. No problem. So it is also the physical mind. As long as you say, I am aware of the body, that is okay. Now see that what happens, the consciousness and the matter got mixed up. How? Our master gives an example of an iron ball. We say a red, hot iron ball. Iron ball is never hot, never red, but it changes its properties due to the fire. Body changes its properties due to the consciousness, but body is a matter. This is not me. I can never be the matter. See that. So you see the another delusion mind causes. Let us go deeper. So what we are doing in the field of awareness, we see that the mind becomes subtle. Now look at the breath. Do nothing. Simply looking at the breath is going in, coming out. Because I'm aware, I see the breath going and coming. No issue. But can you see which mind is looking? The breath, it is the subtle mind, not the physical mind. The mind now naturally drops its identification with the gross, we normally say, or you can say physical matter. What I have to do? Nothing. I have to simply become aware. I look at you and I feel love. That is very subtle. Subtle mind. See that? Liking. Subtle. Same way. Subtle mind is looking at the breath. Breath is going in and out. No issue. We are not doing anything. So when you are not a doer, you know what happens to the physical body? It remains still. There is intense stillness in the body, not of the body. It comes naturally. You are looking at the breath, no issue. You look at the breath and also become aware who is looking at the breath. So who is looking at the breath is the subtle mind, does not want to create an image of the shape and the size, because we have already covered that in the very first step. That is what I say, the physical mind. See that? You are here and now with yourself, and then what is subtler than the breath? No doubt about it. Thoughts, feelings, sensation, all the experiences that is taking place in the mind. So I named it as a subtler mind. Subtler mind, looking at every experiences. You may feel the sensation, you may feel the thought coming from the past. You may feel any past impression or experiences. Let it happen. But look at the subtler mind. We need a very subtler perception to achieve success in meditation. Three questions asked by the master, asked by the seeker. Dispassion. Dispassion comes from the viveka, discernment. And once the dispassion is there, what happens? There is a natural awakening of inner treasure, relaxation, calmness, peace, joy. You see, everything is linked up. So subtler mind is looking at the thoughts, feelings, sensation. Very good. Now, what is deeper than all the thoughts, feelings, sensation? And your own mind says nothingness. Very good. Nothingness means no object. No object means what? Only the subtlest mind remains? Yes. Be there. That is a witness. Master says, the Master says, real self is a witness. You get a taste of it. And when we live into that state of the witness 24/7, meditation succeeds. You are looking, but there is no object there. Can I say objectless state? What Patanjali says? Yoga Sutra nirodha. But Patanjali says you have to practice, 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 practice. Here this master says no practice, no practice, no practice. It is already there in you. What a beauty. And I deliberately used consciousness in the sense organ, able to perceive the object. So from outside, let us move deeper. Cover a milestone. Look inside the heart, in the space, at a point, first point. Just you are recognizing the milestone, the first point in the space inside the heart. You drop Om Shanti. Now from the first point, move the mind deeper. You see, sometime you are on a vacation, you are driving, we have reached 5, 10 miles, 20 miles, same thing. Allow the mind to play. So you reach deeper into the space, you recognize the second point in the space, that is your second milestone, and that is Om Shanti. You earmarked, you marked it. Go deeper. Roughly I am saying first milestone is object, second sense organ, third mind, fourth is liking, disliking, Fifth is attachment, detachment. Sixth is delusion. Seventh is doer. Eighth is enjoyer. Just for the sake of understanding. And beyond that, you have to see yourself. Continue. So we are using this Om Shanti only marking, recognizing the milestone. It is not a practice. That point in the space already exists. You recognize them. So when you do this step, what happens? The time comes, mind says that is it. There is nothing beyond that. So when there is nothing after that, what is that state? Objectless state. Atma Sakshi. Real self is witness. Vibhu, all pervading. Purnam, complete. Eko, one common reality. Free, Muktah, Kaschid, Kriya, action, Akriya, actionless. Asango, unattached. Nishpraha, desireless, and Shanto. When I am all this, why I am suffering? Because I am in delusion. Simple. Delusion leads to ignorance. Ignorance causes suffering. You are covering the milestones. One day, by regular, so-called the regular practice, what will happen? The mind will say, I'm not going there, I'm not moving. Why it is not moving? Even if it is moving, it is reflecting that consciousness which does not move. And doing nothing, remain as you are in the state of doing nothing. Neither a doer nor an enjoyer, my friends. Atma Sakshi. Vibhu, Purnam, Nishpraha. What a beautiful teaching by this master. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Wonderful. After a beautiful session, let us return and we'll share our experiences. Bring the mind on the right hand, on the left hand. Become aware. And as if you maintain awareness, this body is not me, you will not find the doer and the enjoyer. Bring both the hands on your eyes, open the eyes, inside the eyes. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. Atma Sakshi. In the second chapter, basically, then the seeker speaks. What is my experience? Then you can relate your experiences, your state with the seeker. I'm simply working like an agent in between the two. So, nobody. So, how are you, Anne? No worries. Yes.
Okay. I had lots of things going on which preoccupy me. So it was somewhat difficult to control all these invading thoughts.
Doer, enjoyer, see that. Even when I'm not the doer, my mind pulls me that I'm the doer. That is why I have lot of things to do. You see that? You have already decided to do those things after meditation. Clear why the mind is bringing the same thing? That happens, but by regular practice. But you are relaxed and calm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, how are you, Stephen?
I'm good. It was a very quiet meditation. What stands out to me is I like the lesson. I love the idea of the delusion. I've been dealing with it personally the last couple of days. That made this realization last night as
beautiful.
As I discussed it with my wife, I became aware of some of the things that are bothering me that was completely related today. But when we started the meditation, I felt like I was in this really tight, dark space.
Good.
And I was focused there. And then as we started going through, looking at the different parts of the body, the space actually expanded to, it was my entire body. I would say there were limits to it, not that it was limitless, but when I was here to begin with, and then it became, this was the space.
Yes.
And it just stayed nice and quiet throughout, and I just followed your voice, and didn't, anything that popped in, it dissolved immediately, and it was almost that I didn't realize time, so it was over before I knew it.
It's a beautiful journey. You are a seeker. That is what happens. And normally these experiences takes place So, yes. And when you said that, that space started expanding, in fact, that is already an expanded state and the mind realizes it. Beautiful. How are you, Terry? You didn't move during the practice. You see that one has to understand it clearly. If the mind lives in dispassion, it will not move the body. It's a self-check, whether I say it or not.
When we are looking at a point in the space,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how to put the question.
Okay.
I don't know what words to use. I can't find it because I start going, well, here's the space, here's a point,
Yeah.
and the point is here, and I'm here, and then I start thinking, well, that doesn't make sense. And I think that I confused myself or something. I'm confused about it. Like, is the point a thing? Is it separate from me? I just confused myself.
Yeah, don't confuse, Terry, yourself. The simple operating principle, the moment I know something, knower is always different from the object that I know.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I know you, you are an object and I am a subject. Remember the operating principle that seer and the seen are always different. The seer cannot become the seen. The scenes are many, means objects are many. I am one. You see, I am the one who is looking you all, isn't it? So I am the one. Where is the confusion? Confusion comes from the delusion. No worries. Continue the journey, but you got a very vital point. Don't get knower is always different from the known. Are you clear? I know the smartphone. I know. So I am the knower. Phone is an object. They are separate.
Right.
So, David and Jerry, how are you?
When you started to do Om Shanti, I was like, we just started this 5 minutes ago. I couldn't believe it. I was aware of everything you were saying. I just kept going sort of deeper and deeper and deeper. And like I said, I just totally lost track of time. And my limbs were very, very heavy. It was very difficult to lift my arms up, to put my hands in front of my face. It was wonderful.
Beautiful. Yes, it's a wonderful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, it was a good practice. I felt like you were very far away. Your voice.
That's another good experience.
Yeah, I wasn't distracted by anything. I felt that I heard you the entire time. The takeaway with the dispassion, I think, is just something that, we see, I think, in our lives as things are important to us, and then they're changing all the time.
Yes.
And we really have to be dispassionate about things, otherwise we suffer.
You're right. I think dispassion is a precondition in any meditation to reach to that state. Otherwise, without dispassion, the delusion will continue to return. Yeah, that's the right perspective to put it. Wonderful. How are you, Vaibhav?
It was like that during the practice, when I was getting away to myself, all the time what happened, like a space comes, and then it's like that I'm falling deep inside that space. and it was like with a very high speed. I'm falling into it, and then I realize it, and then I come back to the practice, and it was very calm and peaceful.
Yeah, yeah. That's another point. When the mind is falling deep into the space, obviously we are going deeper, beautiful. How are you, Shelby?
I feel calm. I feel like there was a lot going on, but I was just aware of it and separate from it, which helped me to stay calm throughout.
You see, when you are with me, then you are always calm. No, I'm just kidding. Calmness has come from inside you. Some people don't feel calm even with me, so it's natural. I'm not an epitome of the calmness. But we have to live into that state again and again and again. How are you, Ashok? Vivek, why don't you show your handsome face? Yes. Yes.
Sir, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Oh, thank you. Sir, it's a good and nothing much to say, but it's nice practice.
Nice practice. Very good. How are you, Vivek?